So before the video starts, I'd like to shout out the Deviants channel. This is a group of anime YouTubers who have just collaborated in making a fun group on YouTube. It's me, Augie, Mast, Zypher, and a whole bunch of other guys who are now collaborating together just to have some fun on the internet. So if you're interested, go check out the channel out. Content will soon be coming. Has been a while since I've done a most terrifying stands, and I think we should finally give some glory and some shine to probably one of my personal favorite stands, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, aka D4C. Now D4C is probably one of the stronger stands in the entire franchise, not being in the top 10 because those guys are just reality warpers and just time manipulators, but D4C just in strength, power, and its ability is very threatening and powerful. But before we get into any of that kind of a light power scaling, I kind of want to analyze and kind of break down what D4C is and its influences and references in real life. D4C's namesake comes from the band AC/DC's second sophomore album, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. And that's about it for the namesake. Yeah, surprisingly enough, there's really nothing here to analyze. Not much of a connection between the stand and the song, just in name. That's about it. Maybe, and just maybe if you stretch it, you could say due to the easiness and overpoweredness of D4C's ability for such a cheap activation requirement, you could say the name actually does make a bit of sense. But in actuality, you could say the song Funny Valentine and the multiple iterations of this song by many artists is actually the name reference here. And segueing into that, the ability of D4C. D4C has the ability to travel through dimensions parallel to its own universe. How this is activated is by two services pushing on D4C or Funny Valentine, either or. When this of course happens, Funny Valentine can actually go through a portal between these two services colliding against him and travel into different parallel worlds, ranging from very close and similar to the Steel Ball Run universe, or a slightly altered version very similar to alternate universe Diego's world. Now looping back to the musical reference of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, it is kind of more or less funny that this name really sums up the stand ability a lot. Funny Valentine is able to go to alternate universes very cheaply just by standing in between a literal flag and the surface of the ground. And even actually, it's really anything, particles of dust, water, truly anything can be a surface, and he can easily enter an alternate universe / dimension parallel to the Steel Ball Run's universe. Araki says in the JoJo Veller he wanted a silhouette unlike any other previous boss in the JoJo series, so he made it have pointy ears, so I guess that finally answers why D4C looks the way it does. He also designed the baseball stitches on top of it to make it a little bit more interesting. So overall, cool design, really American, because, you know, baseball, America, kind of that whole thing. But what truly makes this stand actually terrifying is the after effects of its power. It's not really the design, or more or less its actual base ability, it's the product of the ability that makes this stand ridiculously terrifying. D4C of course can enter parallel universes and exit out of parallel universes, but he can also bring back things with him. Of course, that being alternate versions of Funny Valentine, but not the stand. D4C is unique to the main Steel Ball Run universe. So why is bringing more versions of yourself without a stand more terrifying? Well, it leads to shenanigans like Who Shot Johnny Joestar and just the tomfuckery of that shit. But D4C has an alternative ability. If the Funny Valentine that D4C is with dies of some reason or right before death, D4C can transfer itself onto another version of Funny Valentine, making him the new base to this universe. Basically meaning that Funny Valentine can technically almost live forever depending on the scenario and if Funny Valentine can time it right. TLDR, basically infinite Mario lives glitch. If D4C were to bring a alternate version of you to yourself, you will die if you come in contact with each other, even if you're not even touching each other, just because two things that are virtually the same cannot coexist in the same universe according to Araki's logic and rules of the JoJo kind of series, I guess, since it does also go back to the games. But this rule does not affect Funny Valentine, of course. D4C's abilities are ridiculously terrifying. The ability to travel to alternate dimensions to bring alternate versions to himself to aid him in battle, having a near infinite supply of lives to finish his plans, and having a instant kill move against any opponent if he brings an alternate version of yourself to yourself. And then D4C evolves into D4C Love Train. Now, what does this entail? Well, at one point in the series, D4C Love Train was the second strongest stand, and then got outshined by Tusk Act 4, which was an automatic counter to D4C Love Train, and is currently tied in third place with Wonder Review, at least according to me, and one day that video will come out, just waiting for part 8 to end / Toru. Now, of course, the song Love Train is the musical reference for D4C Love Train. Now, how the song goes back into the stand is by really nothing. Honestly, it's actually the total opposite, really. The only way you could honestly reference back to the song into the stand is because Lucy Steele was there, they were on a train, and Funny Valentine had gained the grace of the corpse parts, so I guess there was love on said train. It's really corny, but that's all I got in terms of an actual reference back into the song into the stand, so there you go, I guess. And to be totally honest, it's actually an oxymoron. How D4C Love Train actually works is, if anything that is considered a misfortune to the user collides with D4C Love Train, the damage or misfortunate event will collide with D4C and redirect it to any point in the world, possibly killing somebody if the attack is going to potentially kill D4C. So if you attack them, another person dies, or damage, of course, happens to the nearby environment. So yeah, it's not really a love train, it's more like a death train. Ironic. Now, I'm underestimating the stand by a lot describing him. Basically, no stand in the entire series, except for maybe a handful of reality warpers, can actually defeat D4C. Only the spin and those reality warpers can do it. There are literally 4 of those. 4 characters in the series can actually defeat him. That's it. 4 characters. Literally everybody else in the series gets fucking stomped. Potentially, maybe Wonder Review can win, but it's really iffy. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of power. And how can you even defeat D4C Love Train? Infinite power. It literally takes infinite power that crosses multiversal dimensions to defeat him. Tusk Act 4 with the infinite rotation was powerful enough to defeat him, but it was at his most powerful and potent potential to defeat D4C Love Train. Like, it takes a ridiculously amount energy, like a fucking astronomical amount of energy to defeat D4C Love Train. Hell, it takes a kind of halfy golden ratio to actually damage him, but if it's not perfect, you are going to die. Like, it's like you can't beat this thing at all. Like, Valentine still has all of his other abilities on top of D4C Love Train. Like, it's ridiculously how stupid the stand is. And it's ironic because in the JoJo Veller, Araki just kind of based this power off of Independence Day and the president actually like kind of fighting for the country with his own like actual human strength, not with the actual US government, which is kind of funny, actually. Really weird. TLDR, D4C is just ridiculously broken to begin with, and then he becomes Love Train and just starts, you know, doing whatever he wants because he's nigh invincible, has one-shot potential with Love Train and without Love Train, has multiple infinite lives. It's just like he's unstoppable. Like, it was literally luck that the spin was actually in the race. If Johnny or Gyro were not in the race, he literally would have won. Nobody can defeat this thing. It's actually funny. It's ridiculously funny how powerful this stand is. It's just stupid. And if you want to actually dimensionally tier D4C Love Train, he actually transcends dimensions, meaning that he's technically 5D, possibly being a bit stronger than GR if we lowball GR. So just kind of pointing that out too. It's actually like stupid how powerful D4C Love Train is. Well, that's going to be the end of the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, stay hydrated. See you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.